With yesterday's update, they included a bunch of weapon changes in Save the World. I haven't tested them out yet. That's what we're going to be doing for today's video. But just based off of everything I read in the patch notes, epic, what the So before we actually test the weapons out, I do want to see what else is in the patch notes. It says here, introducing the Ancient's Launcher. Recovered from the remnants of a storm-consumed civilization, this powerful new weapon launches an explosive orb of magic and brings in all new mechanic to save the world. Weapon perk, Ancient Curse. Mark up to 8 enemies by aiming down sights and hovering your crosshair over them to apply a mystical glyph that lasts for 5 seconds. Then release aim down sights and unleash single target damage on all marked targets in the order they were marked. Bear in mind, the Ancient's Launcher is mighty but can overheat. Aim carefully, mark wisely, and watch your enemies fall one by one. So it sounds like it works similar to the Mythic Storm King's Wrath. It overheats, it can deal damage to multiple targets, but with this one it looks like you can actually control which ones take damage. They didn't give us a release date for this new weapon, but according to the collection book, event item in the llama shop during the Blasted Badlands Venture Season, which is this current Venture Season, so we will be seeing it soon. Here's what it looks like in game. It looks pretty cool. It also lights up on the side. They also made some changes to Blackbeard's stash. We've updated the Blackbeard stash team perk to reduce confusion and prevent interruption during fast-paced moments. It now opens instantly when the perk owner walks over it. No interaction required. To reduce visual clutter, only the perk owner can now see and collect the stash and its loot. So I do want to show an example of how this has changed. Normally when you get a Blackbeard stash, you would have to walk up to it and open it, which takes about a second or two to open. But after yesterday's update, all you have to do is just walk over it. You see we got the coconut, and we also got cannonball. Yeah, we also got a peg leg. By just walking over it, you no longer have to waste any time opening it. Also, when it comes to certain abilities like the Dragon Slash, for example, you won't even see the Blackbeard stash chest. All of the items will just go directly into your inventory. The cap hasn't changed, so if you've already reached the limit of like cannonballs, for example, which is 8 cannonballs, it'll just fall on the ground. Just keep in mind that your teammates won't be able to see it and they won't be able to pick it up. After today's update, you'll have to actually go into your inventory and drop it if you want to give some to your teammate. So they save time by not having to open the chest, but they waste time having to go into your inventory and drop the loot for your teammates. Anyways, next thing they went over was mission vote notification. To ensure players don't miss vote prompts, the mission activation object difficulty vote notification now appears at the top center of the screen. Alright, let's go ahead and do the difficulty increase, see what that looks like. Oh yeah, it's in the center of my screen too. So that's where you'll see the vote when you try to increase the difficulty after yesterday's update. So I'm going to go ahead and try to start the objective and see what that looks like. That also appears in the middle of the screen. And I assume the same is true if somebody else were to start it. It would look just like this. So that's the changes they made when it comes to the mission activation. Instead of being to the side, it's now in the center. They also had some bug fixes. It says Flutter's whiffs damage now scales more effectively. Chests and other containers no longer appear as if already opened or empty and hit the road. The correct amount of Battle Pass XP will now be earned after the weekly limit has been reached. Instead of earning 0 XP, the default keybinds for pet, sprint, and dismount commands no longer appear as unbound. Opening the emote wheel no longer stops the player from opening the main menu. Fix the perk recombobulator issue where the focus could randomly jump to a different perk slot. Players are no longer prevented from jumping while in the Grasslands Lake. Corrected Major Oswald's dialogue volume in Hunt the Titan. Honestly, they need to fix the Titan's scream volume. That was the main problem I have with Hunt the Titan. Not Major Oswald, but the Titan's volume. Anyways, cursor mode has been restored, and releasing the Alt key after holding it now closes the inventory as intended. They fixed an issue causing the Xenon Bow Plasmatic Discharger and Potshot to incorrectly deal damage multiple times to a single target. We'll take a closer look at that here in a little bit. They fixed an issue where certain weapon perks were incorrectly applied to other equipped weapons, resolved various UI and input issues that affected multiple menus, added several missing voice lines to the Imposter quest line in Blasted Badlands, and quest reward envelopes no longer cover the completed quest name on PS4 Pro. There's also a couple of known issues that weren't fixed. Players may be able to target more than 8 enemies with the Ancient's launcher while aiming down sights, and we'll be sure to test that as soon as it gets released. After firing and aiming down sights, some visual and audio effects on the Ancient's launcher may persist after overheating. Overheating the weapon again and waiting for it to cool down will reset the effects. So if you have any bugs when it comes to the new Ancient launcher after it overheats, just make it overheat again and it should fix the issue. Banner icons may not update to the currently selected one upon entering or leaving a mission. And that's it when it comes to bug fixes and known issues. Last thing we're going to take a look at are the changes they made to weapons. It says this update brings bug fixes and targeted buffs to a variety of weapons, especially those that are situationally useful but often outclassed in general play. Most ranged Vendor-Tech weapons, Pulsar, Blazer, Burster, Jolter, Blaster, Disintegrator, have received stat buffs. These weapons' old 5 headshot perk, minus the Disintegrator, has been replaced with the fixed version of the following perk. Damage dealt to enemies below 50% health will immediately eliminate them. Does not affect missed monsters or bosses. Archer did provide us with some more details on those weapons. So when it comes to the Pulsar, the damage was actually nerfed by 12%, reload time was buffed, and the clip size was buffed. Vendor-Tech Disintegrator, damage nerfed by 2%, clip size reduced. Ammo per shot decreased from 1 to 3, which is good. Only reloads 1 at a time instead of 3, not good. Fire rate buffed slightly. When it comes to the Jolter, the spread decreased, damage nerfed by 12%, durability used per shot reduced, reload time decreased to 2.8 seconds. When it comes to Blaster, spread reduced, recoil reduced, damage nerfed by 12%, knockback massively increased, reload time reduced by 0.1 second. Clip size reduced to 6 from 15. Ammo shot reduced to 1 from 3. Vendor-Tech Burster, spread reduced. Fire rate increased by 0.5. Damage nerfed by 6%. Crit changed increased to 15% base. And last up we have the Vendor-Tech Blazer, damage buffed by 8.5%. Out of all of the Vendor-Tech weapons, this is the only one that actually got a damage buff. Base crit chance buffed to 15%, reload time reduced by 0.2 seconds. Anyways, they also made a change to the Tiny Instrument of Death. It now deals higher damage, has stronger knockback, faster reload time, less recoil, and uses slightly more ammo per shot. When it comes to Shooting Star, it now overheats less quickly and has a faster reload time. Potshot's details now display the full extent of its previously hidden base damage, which has been reduced as part of the balance changes. In addition to the changes above, the following weapons are eligible for an optional one-time full reset. All invested resources will be refunded and the weapons will return to level 1. And they include the Xenon Bow, Plasmatic Discharger Potshot, Pulsar, Blazer, Burster, Blaster, and Jolter. Anyways, I also want to test out each of these weapons against the power level 160 Smasher. And first we're going to start off with the sniper rifles. And here's the loadout we're going to use while we test the snipers. We got Rabbit Raider Jonesy as our commander. So first up we're going to start off with the Xenon Bow, and we'll see how that looks against the power level 160 Smasher. Here are the perks that I have on my Xenon Bow.
Take out the Smasher!
So Xenon Bow is still pretty decent, at least when it comes to 160 Smashers. Thankfully they didn't nerf this one too bad. One of the main reasons I used the Xenon Bow was to destroy stuff around the map, and it looks like we're still able to do that. I just destroyed a fire truck. Xenon Bow is still really good, thankfully, for now. Still a weapon I would recommend even for in-game content. We're also going to try out the Vendor-Tech Jolter, and here are the perks that I have on it. This is not a weapon I would recommend before the weapon changes, or at least not for in-game content, and I don't think it's going to be a weapon I would recommend after the weapon changes either. So that's what the Vendor-Tech Jolter looks like. It took us 6 shots to kill him. There's definitely other weapons that are better when it comes to power level 160 Smashers. Oh, I got the new PlayStation skin. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on so y'all can check it out in game. So here's what she looks like. Oh, she is a little bit thicker.
Yeah, I was about to say, she looked kind of thick.
We'll add her to our thick girl collection. Here's the back bling. And here's the pickaxe. So yeah, that's what the new PlayStation plus pack looks like. And here's the loadout we're going to use while we test the pistols that had changes made to them. We're going to be using Beetlejuice as our commander. The first pistol we'll try out against the 160 Smasher is this Tech Burster. And here are the perks that we have on it. It took us about 10 shots to kill him. So still not a weapon I would recommend when it comes to in-game content. So yeah, that's what the Burster looks like against power level 160 Smashers. Next weapon we're going to take a look at is the Tech Blaster. And here are the perks that we have on it. And we're going to go ahead and try it against this power level 160 regular Smasher. Honestly,
5 shots.
it's not too bad. That's actually not too bad. It's kind of a surprise. And since we have a pistol loadout, we're going to go ahead and test out the Tiny Instrument of Death. Here's the perks that we have on it. And here's what it looks like against the power level 160 Smasher. That actually wasn't too bad. Still not one of the best weapons in the game, but it only took us 4 shots to kill the 160 Smasher. Alright, so I did tweak the loadout for our next weapon, which is an SMG. Instead of Quick Draw Calamity, we now have Gunblazer Southie in our support team. And we're going to try this loadout when we try the Tech Blazer.
Do you want to hear the Kyle scream in slow-mo?
Sure, why not? Thank you. I needed that, thank you. Next up, we're going to try out the Tech Blazer. And here are the perks that we have on ours. And again, we're going to try it out against the power level 160 Smasher. Honestly, that wasn't too bad either.
Was that a full magazine?
Yep, 1 magazine.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So yeah, that's what the Blazer looks like against the power level 160 Smasher. And since we're currently using an SMG loadout, we're also going to test the Shooting Star. And here are the perks that we have on our Shooting Star. So that's what the Shooting Star looks like after yesterday's update. Next up, we're going to test out the Disintegrator. While we test out the Tech Disintegrator, we're going to be using Buckshot Raptor with this loadout. And here are the perks that we have on our Disintegrator. And we're going to try it against this power level 160 Smasher. Oof.
Yikes.
That's what it looks like after yesterday's weapon changes. So yeah, not a weapon I would recommend for high power level smashers. There's a lot of shotguns better than this one. Alright, next up we're going to try out the Tech Pulsar. Here's the loadout we're going to use. We're going to be using Tactical Assault Sledgehammer as our commander. And here's our loadout that we're going to be using while we test it. And here's the perks we're going to use on the Pulsar while we test it. And we're going to try it against this power level 160 smasher. Oh.
Oh, that was kind of good.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Pulsar is pretty decent, people.
Oh, extraterrestrial Rio.
What is she?
In support. Sci-fi.
Oh, I see her.
Oh, soldier.
Sci-fi. Boy, shut your ass. Sci-fi. This motherfucker, man.
Shrug emoji?
Last up, we're going to try out the explosive weapons, which is the pot shot and the discharger. And while we test those out, we're going to use this loadout that has Demolitionist Penny as our commander. And here are the perks that we're going to use on our pot shot while we test it.
You want me to do the slow field again just to make it easier for you?
I think I got it. Oh, my...
Your slow
okay,
field got
let's
eaten.
let's use your slow build. I take it back.
There we go.
I don't know what the hell that was. Alright, let's go ahead and test it out against this 160 smasher. Oh! Yeah, it's still... Pot shot's still good, people. Pot shot is still good, you guys. Honestly, that's probably going to be my main replacement when it comes to Frost Knight and Survive the Horde, maybe 160 missions. Instead of using Discharger, I'll use Pot Shot when it comes to high power level mist monsters like the Smasher. But yeah, as y'all just saw, we just one-shot the 160 with the Pot Shot. So that's still good, people. Alright, people, the moment you all have either been waiting for, or if you're like me, the moment you've been trying to avoid. Now we're going to do the Discharger. We're using the same explosive loadout that we used for the Pot Shot. And here are the perks that we have on our Discharger. Oh my god, that is so weak. Oh my god. Well, it only took us 2 shots to kill him. I feel like it could have been worse. Yeah, it does not melt like it does before, though. Before, you would only need 1 shot. But now, it looks like you need 2. At least when it comes to 160s. You'll probably really notice the changes made to Discharger when it comes to modes like Frost Knights, about the Horde, where you have really high power level Husk. It's definitely not as good as it used to be when it comes to high health targets, like Smashers, for example. Not as good as it used to be. But honestly, it's not as bad as I thought it would be either. Like, I sort of expected it to be a lot worse than this, but it definitely took sort of a nerf with yesterday's update. The Discharger's still really good when it comes to mobs of regular Husk, though. And you saw we just took out all those 160 enemies right there with just 1 shot. So for those who continue playing on using the Discharger, that may be where you want to use it the most against mobs of regular Husk. To sum things up, I would still recommend the Xenon Bow. That's still going to be really good. The Pot Shot is also really good. I would still recommend keeping those and using those. Discharger's not as good as it used to be, but it's also not as bad as I thought it would be. You still take out mobs of Husk really easy with the Discharger, and you can still kill high power level Smashers with it as well, but you're not going to be able to kill them as quickly as you would before yesterday's update. If you do plan on using something other than the Discharger, I would recommend the Atomizer, the Pot Shot. I guess you could also use the Storm King's Wrath if you have it. Some other weapons I think will be really good, especially for in-game content, are the shotguns. When it comes to shotguns, I would recommend the Double Boiler. That's going to be a really good shotgun to use. The Husk Buster is another really good shotgun I would recommend for in-game content. I suppose you could also use the Room Sweeper, but that's going to eat through a lot of your ammo. Black metal weapons are some other weapons I would recommend if you want to deal a lot of damage quickly. Xenon Bow is still good, people. So with that being said, a couple loadouts you may want to use after today's update is Buckshot Raptor. You may want to try him out if you plan on using shotguns. Stoneheart Farah is going to be another really good one with bows like Xenon Bow. Well, instead of Stoneheart Farah, you could also use Sub-Zero Zenith. I feel like he's going to be really useful because he can freeze the Husk and give you and your teammates more time to kill him.
Old Smoky is another good shotgun that you can use. You can take down some Smashers. Just gotta get up close and personal with it.
I suppose Bundle Bust is another weapon you could potentially use for in-game content. When it comes to Vendor Tech weapons, most of them are still kind of useless. But the Pulsar actually performed pretty well against the 160. And surprisingly, the Vendor Tech Blaster also did a lot of damage against the 160. But all of the rest still seems sort of not as good as other weapons you could use. So I wouldn't really recommend those. But yeah, those are some weapons and hero loadouts you may want to try out if you no longer plan on using the Discharger. I'm not mad at the changes they made, just a little disappointed. I feel like it's not really going to affect me that much. I'm still going to be able to complete Frost Knight, survive the Horde. It may be a little harder if I'm helping lower power level people, but I'm pretty sure I can still beat it. Same thing with the Mythic Storm King. I just sort of feel bad for those who are either like a lower power level or a little underpowered, or people who play in public lobbies, because you know sometimes people go AFK and they were able to make up for that by using the Discharger. But after today's update, it's going to be a little bit tougher for them. But yeah, the update's not as bad as I thought it was going to be initially. I thought the Discharger was going to pretty much be completely useless. It doesn't look like that's the case. I'm also really glad the Pot Shot and the Xenon Bow are still really good weapons to use, so hopefully they don't nerf those in the future. But yeah, those are just sort of my initial first impressions of the changes they made. Let me know what you think about the changes they made in the comments below. Do you like it, dislike it? Be sure to let me know. Before I go, I did want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been using creator code A1, and just want to say thank you for your support. Anyways, I hope y'all found the video useful, and thanks for watching. Am I missing anything else?
Shrug emoji?
No, you know what, never mind. Alright, that's it.